Hi, my warmest greetings from Barcelona. Today I'm going to speak about the balance and composition. Balance refers to the overall distribution of visual weight in a manner that a composition feels comfortable for the viewer. I guess everyone knows something about balance and composition. It is a widely discussed topic. But there are some points needing clarification, and I want to share some additional information. Not each element in composition has a visual weight. In terms of figure-ground relationship, visual elements that we perceive as figures have visual weight, but background space containing figures doesn't. The background we perceive as an empty space. We know that background is not necessarily a white blank space. It might be a dark area or a dense area of the picture. As a background serves an element which is present in a larger amount. The visual weight as the real one is directed vertically from top to bottom. Therefore, visual elements balance around an artwork's vertical axis. The balance means that the overall mass of visual elements on the left side of the axis has to be equal to the overall mass on the right side. Let's take a look. This composition is balanced in relation to the vertical axis. It looks comfortable. Next composition is obviously out of balance, but it doesn't make an uncomfortable impression. It looks just dynamic. It's nice. Even composition divided by vertical axis into negative and positive parts looks good. The viewer just perceives it as two spaces where one of them has dark background and another one has light background. In fact, balance inside the composition or inner balance is very stable because we perceive the frame as a kind of a box. Doesn't matter how weight is distributed inside the box. It can't turn the box over. So inner balance in composition is stable because the weight doesn't work sidewards. It works upright down. I guess you didn't hear about outer balance in composition. This idea looks a bit strange. How may be functioning outer balance if we don't have elements outside the picture frame? Let's consider this issue. For example, in a composition, all the elements are at some distance from the borders, and one element is cut by the right border. Then we get the impression that this element is only part of a larger one. We don't see it. We don't see its part outside the frame, and it creates discomfort. Maybe this part is very big, heavy, and will turn over all the picture. Elements cut by the frame we see as connection with external space. The connection point is fixating all composition. It becomes part of something bigger. The left side of in this case stays loose. We perceive it even wobbling a little. To stabilize our composition, we can move one element close to the left border. When the elements cut by frame are placed left and right, all the composition is, so to speak, nailed by both sides. Outer balance keeps all the picture stable, not only some elements. Therefore, we need to keep the balance between the elements cut by side borders. But with elements cut by top and bottom borders, situation is different. They don't need to be balanced. Vertically, composition is stable because the weight works upright down. It doesn't affect outer balance. So I have very good news for you. To create nicely balanced composition, you have to follow only one rule. Keep the balance between the elements cut by side borders. Size of elements doesn't matter. The big element from one side may be compensated by small one from opposite side. In time, I'm creating new videos on composition. You can take a look at my book, Composition in Painting, Basics and Examples. There is a link in description below the video. Don't forget to subscribe, to give likes, and I'll be happy to read your comments. It's all for now. Have a good time. See you soon.